Namaste and warm greetings to our respected guest of honor, distinguished keynote speaker, esteemed dignitaries, faculty members, researchers, participants, and dear students joining us in both the modes virtually and physically. After a deeply meaningful and insightful inaugural session of the 10th International Conference on Universal Human Values in Higher Education 2025, we now move ahead into the keynote session, carrying forward the reflections, aspirations, and collective resolve that emerge from the opening deliberations. The inaugural session reaffirmed that education is not only about knowledge and skills, but about nurturing right understanding, ethical clarity, and harmony at all levels of human living. In this spirit, the keynote session today focuses on the theme Vision for Value-Driven Education for Empowering Youth Towards Happy and Peaceful World. In a rapidly changing world, empowering the youth calls for an educational vision that integrates competence with character, innovation with responsibility, and progress with human values. This session invites us to reflect on how universal human values can become the guiding foundation of education for young minds. It is our privilege that this keynote session is graced by a distinguished guest of honor, Professor S.K. Kak, who is an alumnus of the Institute of Technology, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. Professor Kak has served with distinction as Vice Chancellor of 3 universities, that is CCS University Meerut, Mahamaya Technical University Noida, and JP University Salon. I'm honored to submit here that throughout his academic and administrative journey, he has been a strong advocate of integrating universal human values into education, emphasizing holistic development, ethical leadership, and socially responsible institutions. We are honored by his virtual presence and guidance in the session. We are equally honored to have as our keynote speaker Dr. Kumar Sambhav. I would say a long-standing and dedicated universal human values resource person. An alumnus of IIT Kanpur, Dr. Sambhav is a key contributing author of the seminal textbook Understanding Human Being, Nature and Existence Comprehensively, which has played a transformative role in value-based education across universities. Presently, he serves as professor and director at the UP Institute of Design, Noida, where he continues to integrate academic excellence with value-oriented educational practices. Actually, he practices himself. So, may I now respectfully invite our guest of honor, Dr. Kumar Sambhav, for the keynote address.
Thank you, Manishi Didi. I hope I'm properly audible. My voice is reaching.
You are audible, I hope. The participants across the globe, they have the question time. If they have any question, they can raise their hand and or type the question in the chat box so that we can get it addressed by the speaker.
So, very good morning to one and all, those who are there in the hall and those who are connected online. This is the first keynote lecture of the international conference, and I feel privileged to be here among you to share the vision for empowering youth through value-driven education. And we all want a happy and peaceful world. And most of us are connected with education. So we need to have a vision for education. How education can be value-driven? How education can be the foundation for a happy and peaceful world. As it was being said in the previous session, that education without values is merely information, and education that is founded on values is the real transformation. So whenever we run any program, we run an institution, we develop some vision. Okay. Now when we are working for education, do we have a vision? Is that vision in line with making the world a happy and peaceful society to live in? So let us discuss a few things. So we'll discuss in this session solution-centric approach to fulfillment of human aspirations and resolution of problems. So we all have multiple aspirations in life. We are also trying to resolve our problems, which become our concern. And then what would be the right approach to fulfill our aspirations? Can we get to see our basic aspiration behind all these aspirations? And can we also see the root cause of all the problems so that we can resolve the problems at the root? So we'll try to address this. We'll also talk about holistic development. We all have been talking about development, right? As an individual, we want to develop. As a family member, we want to develop. As a society, we want to develop. As a nation, we want to develop. So when can we say that our development is holistic? And then what would be the role of education therein? This is something that we'll try to explore. And then we'll also talk about the vision for empowering youth through value-driven education. And in that discussion, we'll talk about the graduate attributes that we are trying to propose through this conference. So at the very outset, let me say that whatever I'm saying from my end is a proposal, and you need to verify on your own right. So it's not that we have to assume whatever is being said here as true or false, right or wrong, but basically it is a proposal. It is something that I'm sharing from my side. And you'll see that there is an innate faculty in each one of us that we call as natural acceptance, right? If I'm able to address this innate faculty of mine, I'm able to get very genuine answers from within. For example, if I ask you, do you want to be happy or unhappy? What will you say? Happy. Okay. Do we want to have the feeling of relationship or opposition? Relationship, isn't it? Those who are connected online may also respond in the chat box. And if you have any questions, you can also write in the chat box. So we are able to see that we naturally accept the feeling of relationship. Now, have you been trained to respond like this? To say that I want to be happy, I want to have the feeling of relationship, or it is something that comes from inside? What do you feel? What do you feel? It comes from inside. So that innate faculty is our natural acceptance. And essentially, as I see, the role of education is to help the students address this innate faculty within oneself and see that everything falls in line. Once we start becoming aware of our natural acceptance, we start referring all proposals that we get from outside to our natural acceptance and start deciding from there. So basically, this whole process of education is an awareness about the natural acceptance, right? So I'll say that it is a process of dialogue, a dialogue between me and you to start with, and it soon becomes a dialogue within your own self. So this is something that is being said from my side, right? And of course, in the online mode and in this format, maybe we are not able to interact that much, but to the extent possible, we'll try to interact and see how we can establish a dialogue. So the initial journey is a dialogue between me and you, but gradually say that we are going to talk about such issues which raise some pertinent issues in our life, and we start addressing those issues within ourselves and becomes a dialogue within oneself, right? And there are two realities associated with each one of us: what you are and what you really want to be, right? What you really want to be is your natural acceptance. So when I ask you, do you want to have the feeling of relationship or opposition? You say relationship. But when you observe your living in family, in organization, with your peers, with friends, you may feel that sometimes you feel related, sometimes opposed. So it's a mix of relationship and opposition. And thus you will see that there's a gap between what you are and what you really want to be. And this gap is essentially the problem in our life, right? When we say about resolving our problems, essentially we are trying to remove this gap between what I am and what I really want to be. So the purpose of the dialogue is to reinforce this internal dialogue. I hope this is fine. We all want to reinforce this internal dialogue. What do you feel? Yes. Very nice. So the first part of the discussion that we are going to proceed with, approach to fulfillment of human aspirations and resolution of problems. ये नहीं काम कर रहा. So there could be two possible approaches. One could be solution-centric, the other could be problem-centric. Now, how do we approach issues in our life? Is it solution-centric or is it problem-centric? So we'll try to have a look at that. Now, let's say when you talk about aspirations, right? And the concerns and the problem that we have. So as we are mentioning right now, at the individual level, you want to be happy, you want to be prosperous, and that too in continuity. Is that true? Do we want to have the continuity? Yes. Okay. Of happiness as well as prosperity. There is not a single moment when anyone would like to be unhappy, would like to feel deprived. So we want the continuity, right? Collectively, if you see, we want to have a humane society. We want the well-being of all. So our natural acceptance basically is to be happy and prosperous in continuity, and collectively to have a humane society where well-being of all is ensured. But when you look at the current state, we can see many concerns and problems. For example, there is poverty, right? There are inequalities. There are rivalries in relationship. And like that, there are many problems at all levels, be it individual or family or society or nature. And we are troubled by these problems and we want to get rid of them. So what do we do? So if you go to list all these problems, okay, at the individual level, at the level of family, society, nature, okay, there would be a long list. This whole session will fall short in listing all the problems that we are facing today. So what do we do? Okay, we are troubled by these and we want to get rid of them, but what approach do we take? So are we making effort with clarity of our aspirations? Do we have the clarity of what we basically aspire for? Are we making effort to resolve the root cause of the problems? Or we are just trying to get rid of symptoms? Now, these will be two different things. So, for example, if I am clear about health, then I make a program for health, right? If I'm not clear about health, then I keep struggling with diseases. Okay, and there also maybe I'm not able to find out the root cause of the disease, and I'm only struggling with the symptoms, trying to do away with them. So what approach we are taking in our life is something to be made out. So there could be three possible approaches. One is problem-centric problem-solving approach. The second could be solution-centric problem-solving approach. And the third could be solution-centric solution effort. Now, what does it mean? So for example, if there is a problem, okay, so we make that problem at the focus, bring the problem at the focus, and try to get rid of the problem by any means. It may be the case that in process of getting rid of the problem, we are creating multiple other problems. For example, if somebody has some health issue, right, and one tries to get rid of the problem, but creates multiple other health issues. So then the approach becomes such that in place of getting rid of problems, we are trying to, or we are creating many other problems. Solving a single problem, we are trying to do something which creates many other problems. The second approach could be where we have a problem, we are trying to work out the solution, but our solution is also ultimately focused on getting rid of the problem. Okay, so I make a program for, let's say, health, but my focus is only to get rid of the problem. So I am surrounded by problems, right? And I'm doing something or the other so that I can be at peace with the problems. I can somehow get rid of the problem, but I'm not able to make the holistic program there. The third approach is when I have a solution-centric solution effort. So I'm able to see that the problem is merely an indication of the gap between what I am and what I really want to be. So I get aware of what I really want to be. I try to be what I really want to be. And in that process, I ensure harmony at all levels of my living. And the problems get naturally taken care of. What is naturally acceptable? First one, second one, or third one? What do you feel? Third one, right? Try to make it out. And what we are doing today, If you see, whenever we have time to discuss something, we are discussing problems, right? And in course of discussing problems, seldom we are aware of the solution. And generally, we are not discussing the solution, right? If we make effort for the solution in a sustainable manner, in a holistic manner, right, then we'll naturally not have problem. So for example, if I'm aware how to ensure health, right, then I will naturally make a program which ensures health and the disease will not occur. Why not have that kind of effort? So basically, education is solution-centric solution effort, right? So the three ways in which we can respond, like one is being reactive to the problem. The second is being active when the problem comes up. And the third is being proactive so that no problem comes up. Education is basically a means in which we develop the individuals so that they can lead a happy and prosperous life in continuity, so that they are themselves resolved and they don't let the problems come up. Basically, they are able to solve the problems, right? So this would be the effort for resolution. Now, if you look at the current situation, we can see that there is lack of clarity of human goals and lack of effort for fulfillment of human goals. And we have the problems. We can see many problems at all levels. We'll hint at some of them, be it at the level of individual or family or society or nature. And we are troubled by these problems. We want to get rid of them. So what are the efforts that we are trying to ensure? So we can see that we are making efforts, okay, for resolving the problems at every level, be it individual, family, social, or nature. And many people are making effort at these levels. But what is happening actually? If you look at the current situation, let's say there's a problem. What is the problem? There's lack of fulfillment in relationship. There's lack of communication between people. So we try to get rid of the problem. And one solution could be telephony, right? So we have developed landline phones, we have developed mobile phones. Now every hand has a mobile. So the technology is successful. Okay. About 80% of the population have a landline or a mobile phone. But actually, is the technology successful? Have we been able to get to the problem? So transmission has increased, but has the communication increased or decreased? What do you feel? Decreased. So overall, if you see the communication with the family members, okay, our close relations has got reduced. We are aware of so many issues around the world. Okay, we have updates every moment, right? That kind of transmission has gone up, but the communication from self to self has come down. So has the relationship improved or not? No. Is there greater fulfillment relationship? No. So ultimately, if you see, we try to get to the problem, but we have come up with some other problem which is more serious. Families breaking, communication, getting somewhat obstructed in the relationship. So this is something that we had discussed last time also. So I'll not detail much upon this. Another situation, if you see, let's say there's a problem pollution. This is some data that I got at Greater Noida where I reside. And there's a website from where I got this number. The AQI that morning was 781. The tolerable limit is only up to 300, right? So there's a problem of pollution. And what is the effort to get into the problem? So we are developing cars with more advanced technology, right? What is happening finally? Technology successful. So harmful pollutants per vehicle have decreased. That we can see. BS4, BS5, BS6, the harmful pollutants per vehicle have decreased. But have the pollution overall increased or decreased? Increased. The number of vehicles have gone up, other sources of pollution have come up. So on one hand, we are having advanced technology, but ultimately the problem is not getting solved. Okay, we have a worse kind of situation. And in NCR, where we are all here, we can see that the AQI has been bad for the last 2 months. And it is being said that for the next 8 or 9 months, this is not to be solved. So this kind of situation we have landed up in. So we'll have multiple examples to share when we have the panel discussion. So this will be sufficiently exemplified during the discussion on sustainable development goals, when we have the panel discussion, or health or education. And this will discuss in fair details also in other keynote lectures, as well as the panel discussion when we have that discussion on addressing the SDGs holistically, when we are discussing holistic human health and holistic value-based education. And I hope all of us who are there in this session are going to be a part of the panel discussion also. So there we have multiple angles to look at the problem and how we can solve the problems. So there are two possible approaches. One is the problem-centric and the other is solution-centric. So here, when we are going for the problem-centric approach, we have a problem, or maybe we are only aware of the symptom, not exactly aware of the root cause of the problem. And we are trying to find some solution. So when I was talking about the problem pollution, one technological solution that is being discussed nowadays is cloud seeding. Let us have artificial rain, right? And are we really aware what kind of natural disturbance it may cause when we have artificial rains? So if you do not work on the consumption, if you do not work on the way we are producing the facilities and trying to utilize them, and we keep on creating such techniques and technologies which may cause a worse disturbance in the nature, okay, then this is going to produce more problems than what we are actually facing today. So when we are working only at the symptom, okay, so we get some temporary relief. Maybe when we have this cloud seeding, we can get relief for 15 days or so from the pollution. But is the problem actually solved? It is not solved. So the solution-centric approach essentially means that we can work in 4 steps. One is we need to have the clarity of all-encompassing resolution. Then that essentially means that to ensure a happy and prosperous life for individual in continuity and to have the well-being of all, okay, what would be the program to live? What would be the program to ensure harmony at all levels of living? So that clarity, and this clarity is to be ensured through education. Once we have this clarity, then we make effort in all directions, right, to have this kind of living, where our living is based on the all-encompassing resolution. And this can be a sustainable program, a program for all. Now, when we are actually doing this, then we may find some problems coming from time to time. But once we have this resolution, the all-encompassing resolution, in light of that, we can do the right analysis of the problem, not working merely at the symptom level, but actually working at the root cause of the problem. And then we can get rid of the root cause of the problem. So for example, if the pollution is a problem, we can see why actually the pollution is taking place. What is our worldview today? Okay. Do we need to actually consume so many vehicles, so many utilities? So what would be the right way to live in which the society is free of pollution? That kind of vision is required. Unless we have that kind of vision, whatever we keep on doing is only going to work on the symptom, but not actually target the root cause of the problem. So is this approach enough or something more is required? Are all steps necessary or something can be left out or added? And what would be the order? So now if you look at the two approaches, which approach is fine, better? One on the left-hand side or the one on the right-hand side? What do you see? Right-hand side, okay. So how do you proceed? We go by 1, 2, and then 3, 4, or we actually start from 3 only? 1, 2. And basically education is the program where we start with 1, right from childhood, isn't it? So our approach is solution-centric approach, and the effort is for developing a shared vision and action for human education. And through that, the emergence of a humane society in which the well-being of all is realized generation after generation. So our basic effort is for mainstream education, that is holistic and value-based. And then when we talk about holistic value-based education, there will be certain guidelines. So the first thing would be, it has to be holistic, and that means that it has to encompass all dimensions of a human being, all levels of living. It has to be holistic. We cannot be talking in education in a fragmented manner, addressing some compartments of life and leaving out the rest. Then it has to be universal. It means it has to be applicable to every human being, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, region, whatever. It has to be applicable to all. It also has to be rational. Rational means that we have to allow the student to ask questions, reason out, apply logic to what we are seeing. It cannot be a set of do's and don'ts or morals or moral stories or some dogmas or belief or dictums. It has to be rational. Then it has to be verifiable. It means whatever is being said has to come as a proposal, not as a dictation, right? So the student has to be enabled to verify and validate. Verify within at the level of natural acceptance and validate in one's living. And finally, it has to be humane, right, leading to harmony. Any comments on this? Are all the basic guidelines okay? Or we can remove some of them? What do you feel? All of them? Nice. So I'm getting response in the chat box also that all these basic guidelines are necessary. So this will result into fulfillment of individual goals for happiness and prosperity through the development of human consciousness. Also resolution of problems at their root, not at the symptomatic level. And human society in which the well-being of all is ensured generation after generation. This is also very important. See, if we just think of our generation and do not think of the generations to come, okay, then we are at fault. It is also observed that the children are asking today, who gave us the right to consume the planet so much that is not livable for them, right? Now, if you keep on consuming, if you keep on polluting the resources on the planet, then how will the generations to come survive on this planet? So this is a major concern. Now, with this clarity, we can talk about holistic development and the role of education. In the meantime, if anyone has a question from this hall, you can raise your hand, or you may take a mic and speak up. We can take that question. Let me look at the chat box. If there's any question, then I can try to respond. Nice. So maybe towards the end, presently I don't see any questions. So towards the end, we can do that. So now with this clarity, we can talk about holistic development and the role of education. So what is the role of education? We all have been through education, right? So what is the role? What role it has played in our life? Can we make it out? What role does it play in the student's life whom we are teaching? So the role of education is to facilitate the development of the competence to live with definite human conduct. So this is something proposed from this side, that basically the education is to facilitate the development of the competence, right? To live with definite human conduct. And human conduct being definite means it is in accordance with one's natural acceptance. So as we were discussing earlier, that we naturally accept the feeling of relationship. Now, an educated person would be one who is able to live with feeling of relationship, one who never goes into opposition, right? Is that fine? So if I have to test how educated I am, then I will evaluate myself, develop my feeling. Do I ever have a feeling of some echo is there? Do I ever have the feeling of position within me, or I always have the feeling of relationship, right? Similarly, if I am happy within, then only I can share my happiness with the world outside. So am I fetching happiness from the world outside, or am I sharing my happiness to the world outside? So we have to really observe whether our conduct is definite or not within oneself, in our relations with the rest of nature, in the society. Is our conduct definite or not? Okay, is it in accordance with our natural acceptance or not? Now, if you look at it, you can see that there are three kinds of fear that we can observe. One is fear of natural calamities. The second is fear of wild animals. And the third is the fear of inhuman behavior of human beings. We can add any other fear that is there, okay? Nice. So now if you look at these three kinds of fear, which is predominant for us today? Third one, okay? Now if you see, we are contained in this hall, right? So whatever we have happening outside, it may be raining, it may be thunder, okay, whatever, we are protected. So we do not have that fear of natural calamities anymore to a large extent. And now the wild animals have fear with us. We are not fearing them. We have contained them in a zoo, okay, or some reserved area. So we do not fear the wild animals. But how about the fear of inhuman behavior of human beings? That is on the rise. And it is a pity to say that in the name of development, whatever we are doing today, the so-called developed nations, if you observe the news that we are getting from there, this fear is much on the rise. The school children are firing guns at their teachers, at their peers. Okay, at least here we do not have that kind of fear. But actually, if you see, the society may not be moving in the right direction when the fear of inhuman behavior is going up. Recently in Sydney, we had that firing incident, right? So this fear is on the rise day by day. On one hand, everyone is getting access to education. right? Technology is advancing day by day. 30 years back, if you see, this kind of thing was not possible. Getting connected through mobile, okay, a Zoom platform to talk to the world outside. Okay, it was a rare scenario if anybody had that kind of facility. Now the technology has got so much advanced, and the AI is also coming. And with AI, we are making our life much, much easier. But how about the use or misuse of AI? If we do not have value-based education, right, the misuse of AI is going to be on the rise. And then the fear will go up much, much more. So literacy is increasing, but the fear of inhuman behavior of human being is also increasing. Now, if you look at this, what would be the basis of definiteness of conduct? So all units around us exhibit definite conduct except human being. And that is the source of fear from human being. Now, if you look at the units of the nature, so if you look at the trees and plants, the conduct is based on their seed. For a tree and plant, the conduct is defined by the constitution of the seed. For animals, if you see, the conduct is based on their breed. But for a human being, the conduct is based on the education and sanskar. If the education is humane, the child will develop definite human conduct. But if it is inhuman education, the conduct will be indefinite, inhuman, right? What is happening today? What is happening today? If you observe, the indefinite, inhuman conduct is gradually increasing, right? The kind of news that we hear today, it was seldom to be heard 20 years back. And then what is going to happen 20 years hence? Right? We have to sit and think about it. We have to see how a holistic solution can emerge. In the race of developing more and more technological systems, gadgets, facilities, we have come to somewhat miss about this. Okay, we talk about this only when we get some news, but we are not able to see the root cause of this. On one hand, everybody is getting higher and higher degrees in education, but the mental issues are growing up. We keep on getting mails from AICT and other bodies that we have to work out some solution for the stress management, okay, or for the suicidal thoughts that the students are having, okay, the psychological issues that they are developing. So it is a serious concern. So what is the role of education then? The role of education is to facilitate the development of the competence to live with definite human conduct. And then who is expected to provide the education? What do you feel? Parents, teachers, society? Is there need for education, this kind of education? So generally, teachers may feel that this is the task of parents, okay, because they are sending the children to our school or college, and our task is to cover the syllabus, conduct examination, do write evaluations in the examination, and share the results and get them placed. Parents feel that it is the task of teachers because they are paying so high to the school or college, and then it becomes the onus of the teachers. And when you have the parent-teacher meeting, then both would be blaming each other, and finally they settle that it is the task of the government. Okay, so we can't do anything about it. The government has to look into all these issues. So of course, there's a need for such education, and then we have to actually see whether we are able to ensure it or not. So if you want to provide such education, what would be the basic requirements? And we'll explore into this. Now, when we look at the human aspirations, okay, so how we want to live and its fulfillment. So there is one need to survive, right? And to survive, we require physical facilities. So, for example, food, clothes, shelter, instruments, all these are physical facilities to survive, right? Now, when we want to live with happiness and prosperity, in addition to physical facility, we require relationship. So, for example, when we look into our families and try to find out what is the major cause of problems in the families, is it lack of physical facility or is it lack of relationship? What do you feel? Let me look at the responses in the chat box. Relationship. Yeah, if anyone has a question in the chat box also, you can write. You can respond to that. Yeah. So most of the problems are coming from lack of relationship. Even if someone feels that it is due to lack of physical facility, let me give a very crude example. Let's say there are 4 members in a family, and everybody requires 5 units of bread every day. So we require 20 units of bread in a family in a day. Now let's say if someday there are only 18 breads, okay, not 20 actually, 2 are short. Will there be a quarrel in the family for food or not? What do you feel? The family requires 20 bread in a day, and there are only 18, 2 are falling short. Will there be a fight for food in the family or not? Okay, some are saying of course, some are saying no. Nice. A mix of responses coming here, not necessarily. Okay, someone is saying we'll adjust and share. It depends. Mutual understanding. With mutual understanding, it can be resolved. Nice. So if there's a feeling of relationship, then what will happen? If there's a feeling of relationship, then we'll feed the other first and eat. Right? But if there's a lack of relationship, then we'll try to snatch from the other and eat, and also store for the next day. Now just see, on one hand, the wealth in the society is going up. But at the same time, the family feuds are also going up. If you go to the courts, most of the cases are to do with the relation between husband and wife or between brothers and sisters for distribution of property. Now, where will there be this kind of feud for distribution of property? Where there is property or there is lack of property? Where there is property, isn't it? So, on one hand, the property is going up, facilities are going up, wealth is going up, but the feuds are also going up. And somewhat they have become very kind of chaotic. So many cases coming up, so much of news coming up for simply parking the vehicle in the parking lot. Two brothers fight with each other and fire at each other. So this kind of scenario is coming up, right? So if there is lack of relationship in the family and the physical facility is going up, the situation is going to be worse. Let's say in a family, both husband and wife are earning, right? So the wealth is going up in the family. But if the two are competing with each other to prove who is better, who is higher, okay, who is superior, will there be harmony in the family? No. Will there be problem in the family? Yes. So in spite of the fact that we have physical facilities in the family and they are growing day by day, but if there is lack of relationship in the family, our family situation is going to be worse day by day, right? And that's why we can say that the joint families are breaking, right? Now even the nuclear families are breaking. One person was telling me that in his society where he lives, if husband and wife are living together, then this is called a joint family. Because most of the people have migrated and seldom it is seen that husband and wife are living together, right? So we do require relationship. And the good thing is that people are able to see that there is importance of relationship. If you look at the development psychology today, when we talk about positive psychology, people are trying to focus on relationship. A research has been carried out, right? And this is the most long drawn research in the West. And that says that for a fulfilling life, right, we do need to focus on relationship. So nice. So to live with happiness and prosperity, we do require relationship. But we want the continuity of it. Let's say you focus on relationship, right? But you try to fulfill the relationship by fulfilling the wishes and desires of your spouse every day. And the spouse doesn't have the right understanding. Will it work or will you get tired in the process? So it so happens that we get serious about relationship. We want to fulfill the relationship. We try to fulfill it by fulfilling the desires and wishes and aspirations of the other. But if the conduct is not different of the other, if the aspirations are not in line with the basic aspiration, if the desires are not guided by natural acceptance, so in spite of the fact that we are making so much of effort to fulfill the relationship, and mostly the sincere people who are trying to work out sincerely on relationship, but if the right understanding is missing, then we get tired in the process. We get fed up in the process. Okay. So we also require right understanding. Now, with right understanding, I'm able to understand myself. I'm able to understand the feelings in relationship, which can be naturally acceptable to me and the other also, right? And the way we can fulfill each other. With right understanding only, we are able to see that I'm not merely the body. I am the self coexisting with the body. And the other person in my family is also a self coexisting with the body. And the relation exists between self and self, right? And in that relationship, we have certain feelings which are naturally acceptable to us. And basically, the relationship is fulfilled when we recognize that feeling rightly and then fulfill it. It's not merely by sharing of physical facilities. Yes, sharing of physical facility with right feeling could be fulfilling. But if you're just sharing the facilities and not sharing the right feeling, then it can be troublesome. Let's say in a family, okay, the husband earns, and whenever he gets some salary, he shares some gift with the wife. But while sharing the gift, he uses some derogatory word. Will the relation get fulfilled? No.
No.
Then in reaction, what will wife do? Wife will cook a very delicious dish, right? And serve to the husband and push the plate. And eat it, the hungry man. So if we do not have the right feeling relationship, even though we have adequate physical facility, it will not be fulfilling. And for that, to ensure that we have the right feeling every moment, we do need right understanding. With right understanding only, we are able to understand our relationships, understand oneself, understand the other, and fulfill it. Similarly, when it comes to identify the need for physical facility, okay, we do need to have the right understanding. How much food I require, what kind of food I require, right? How many clothes I require, right? What kind of clothes I require. So one question, a very pertinent question that we keep on asking in every workshop: are we really aware how many physical facilities we have, or how many clothes we have? Are we really aware how many clothes we have? Might be we are not aware, but we keep on purchasing clothes every month. Now, going even further, are we really aware how many physical facilities we have? Right? Have we done some stock taking? And are we really aware why we have those facilities? Is it for nurturing the body, or protecting the body, or rightly utilizing the body, or otherwise? So with yes, so with right understanding only, we are able to make out our needs correctly, isn't it? We are also able to see the relationship with the rest of nature with which we are going to produce. So, for example, if I need food, what would be the right way to produce the food so that the food production is sustainable? If I am producing food in a way in which the soil is getting infertile, okay, or polluted, and I'm getting diseases in the long run, will that be a sustainable process or not? So, with right understanding only, I'm able to make out such processes which are mutually fulfilling to the rest of nature, so that I become prosperous and the nature also gets enriched. So, there are three things which are required. If you look at them, okay, we can classify them like this. Now, you will see that when it comes to physical facilities, for animals, it is necessary and largely adequate. For example, if there's a cow in the house, you give the fodder to the cow twice a day, give water thrice a day, provide a shade. The cow is very much comfortable, right? It is largely adequate. How about a human being? Can physical facility be largely adequate or adequate even for us? No. You'll see that when we have a lack of physical facilities, we are troubled. Okay. We feel uncomfortable, we feel unhappy. But when we have the physical facilities, we start thinking about 100 other things. Say, for example, you did not have a house of your own 10 years back. Every time you are bothered about how to have a house of your own. Should I be going for EMI? Should I be investing my property that I have from ancestors to get the house? Something or other. Now, once we have the house, we seldom are happy with it. But we start thinking that I have a house, but the what is that interior design does not look so good. The same design is there for 5 years. Why not change it? Okay, it has become boring to observe the same walls every day. I have a portico, but there is no car in the portico. So we keep on multiplying the physical facilities. We seldom feel happy about how many physical facilities we have. We also see that when you do not have food, we feel troubled, we feel uncomfortable. But do we really feel happy that we have been getting enough to eat? If I am not having enough to eat, it's a problem. But when I am having enough to eat, we seldom feel happy about it. So this is a kind of observation that we can make about ourselves and the society also. So just find out, all these three are required, or is something redundant among these? What do you think? Can you respond in the chat box? All three are required? Yeah. Nice. Now, if these three are ensured in life, is anything more required? Let me look at the chat box. Is anything more required? Now you can see that our needs are so definite. We keep on teaching in economics that wants are unlimited, right? But if you actually look at the need behind the want, it is very much definite, right? And it can be understood, it can be fulfilled. So are we taking care of all the three, or we are largely taking care of the physical facility only? And does physical facility ensure fulfillment relationship, right understanding in the self? What do you feel? Can physical facility by itself ensure the right understanding, ensure fulfilling relationship? No. Nice. So if all three are required, then what would be the priority? Priority means, so working on the higher priority facilitates the actualization of the lower priority. What is the priority? So if you look at it closely, a little bit of close consideration will show that without right understanding, we can't ensure fulfillment in relationship. And we don't know how much physical facility we require. And regardless of how much physical facility we accumulate, we keep on feeling deprived. We may have millions, okay, as I was said, but we still feel that we have only millions, not billions. So we keep on feeling deprived. In fact, when we go to conduct the student induction program in institutions, so generally we ask few questions. So I ask them, do you want to be a billionaire? Everybody says yes. Then I ask them, do you want to be happy? Then everybody says yes. Then I ask them that, are you sure that once you are a billionaire, you are going to be happy in continuity? Nobody says yes. At least this much awareness we do have. Then ask them, then why do you want to be a billionaire? And then everybody starts laughing. Okay. So unknowingly, okay, through the training that we are getting, through the conditioning that we are getting, this kind of desire has got shipped in that we want to be a billionaire, okay, without being aware whether this is going to ensure happiness in continuity or not. So problems in the family are more due to lack of fulfillment relationship than lack of physical facility. So relationship is more important than physical facility. Physical facility is necessary, okay, but not adequate. Yeah. So if you try to prioritize them, you see that right understanding comes at the first priority, and then comes relationship, and then physical facility. And this is something which is applicable to every human being, right? For animals, it is necessary and largely adequate. It is necessary but not adequate for human beings. But unknowingly, we have got focused merely on physical facility. So try to find out. All three are definitely required, and we can keep the priority open. So if we feel that this is the priority that we can go about, well and good. If not, then we can keep it open. So now we can see the outcome when we are ensuring all three and when we are working only on physical facility. So when we are working only on physical facility, what is happening? So I'm not working for right understanding. I am feeling unhappy within, and I'm making others also unhappy in the process. And since I am not aware of the need for physical facility rightly, I feel deprived within, and I keep on exploiting and depriving others, including the nature. Right? So that's how we observe that in society we can see two categories of human beings. One who are lacking physical facility and they are unhappy and deprived. And the second category of those who are having physical facility but still they are unhappy and deprived. While what we really want to be is to have the physical facility, but at the same time be happy and prosperous. And the present day education can at the most bring the students from 1 to 2, right? If you're not talking about relationship, it is a pity that in our whole curriculum, right from primary to higher education, we do not have a single course which talks exclusively about relationship. We have made it personal to the child. The child is struggling in relationships, but he is reading books, he is listening to motivational lectures, or searching for solution on websites, but not able to address the need for relationship through education. Similarly, we have kept this right understanding part as something personal, something subjective, and that's how we are not able to talk about it in the class. So that's how the education is only able to bring the students from 1 to 2. What we actually want to be is 3. So find out where do we want to be and where we are right now at 1, 2, or 3. So this is inhuman consciousness. If the education is only focusing on physical facility, ignoring the right understanding, ignoring relationship, then education is making human beings inhuman. Is that true? Because we are preparing them to live with inhuman consciousness. Now, when we have the right priority, right, then we can see that with right understanding and feeling of relationship, we are able to ensure mutual happiness, happiness within while making others happy. Similarly, with right understanding, we are able to make out the need for physical facility. So we are able to ensure prosperity for oneself and also able to enrich the rest of nature. And if you have these two ensured in life, mutual happiness and mutual prosperity, do we think we require anything more than this? In every relationship, I am able to ensure, I am able to participate for mutual happiness. And with the rest of nature, I am able to ensure mutual prosperity. Okay. What else do we require as a human being? So this is human consciousness. This is being human. So we are human beings, but we need to work to be human. Okay. So the whole journey is from human being to being human. And that is the task of education. So this transformation is holistic development. So what is naturally acceptable to us? To be on the bottom, left or top right? That we can make out. Where are we today? So are we making effort for the transformation? I can see some hands raised. So maybe I'll take up some questions here. Rosie Bark, you can unmute and ask the question. Miss Rosie Bark. Dr. Jaya Sikdar. You can unmute and ask. Else you can simply write the question in the chat box. Dr. Brajesh. Fine. I hope I'm able to reach you. Otherwise, you can simply write your question in the chat box. So this transformation is essentially the progress. So if I have to gauge my progress in life, to what extent I have been able to progress as a human being, I have to see whether I have been able to transform on this line. Am I only piling up physical facility, adding to the physical facilities in my life? Okay, adding zeros to my salary, adding more and more facilities in my house, or am I actually transforming as a human being? Okay, am I able to ensure right understanding within me? Am I able to ensure the right feeling in relationship in me? Am I able to make out the need for physical facility rightly? Okay, and once I have this clarity at the individual level, then only we can plan at the societal level. if I have to plan the progress of my country, okay, it cannot be by merely adding to the economy of the country. Okay. It has to engross all the three. It has to include the right understanding, relationship, as well as physical facility. Yeah, Dr. Neeraj, you have raised your hand. Nice. So do we need to make effort for this or not? What do you feel? We do need? Yes. You have a question? Yeah. Can you get a mic, Didi? You can have a hand mic or something. Or you can speak from that much. Yeah, okay, fine. I hope you're audible. Yes. Yeah. So when you look at the expression part, it may become boring. But when you look at the feeling, so for example, respect is a feeling. Now, let's say in your relationship, somebody always have a feeling of respect for you. Does it make him boring? No. But if he keeps folding his hands in front of you all the time, it may become boring, right? So if there is continuity of expression, then it can be intolerable also, not only boring. But if there is continuity of the feeling, the understanding, it is fulfilling. Right? So physical facility alone can't ensure transformation, regardless of the extent of its increase. Holistic development is ensuring all the three, and we'll explore into the role of education so that ensures mutual holistic development. Now, there are some data here. So you'll see that we are already producing enough food. The global food production is 6 times the requirement, right? And the global food wastage is 1/3 of the production. So wastage is enough to feed 1,300 crore people per year. Now, this data is taken from 2011, and the population on the planet might have been 650 crore people. So twice the need of the population on this planet is getting wasted, right? And we're still developing technology to produce more and more food. So presently, there are only 700 crore people on this planet. So are we really conscious, responsible consumers? Have we understood right utilization? Do you think it is a question of production? No. Is it a question of distribution? Yes. So distribution, when you talk about it, it is essentially an issue of relationship. And relationship can be guided only through right understanding. And right understanding can be ensured through education sanskar. So of course, there's a need for human education, okay, even to solve the problem of hunger. So sometimes we say that hunger is not a problem, but it is caused. So here is the role of education to enable a transformation to human consciousness. Fine. So with this clarity, having the clarity about the role of education in the development of consciousness of the human being, we can go further and talk about the vision for empowering youth through value-driven education. So when you have the value-driven education, we need to ensure these three. Right understanding in every child, the capacity to live in relationship with every other human being, and the capacity to identify the need of physical facilities, and then the skills and practice for sustainable production of more than what is required, and also the right utilization of the physical facility, leading to the feeling of prosperity. So this is the role of education. When we say value-driven education, the core would be developing this kind of competence. So right from childhood, we have to take the content as a proposal to the child, enable the dialogue with the child, help the child ask pertinent questions related to his or her life, and then develop the understanding through self-exploration. This is the first requirement. In that process, the child will gradually develop the capacity to live with relationship with his parents, with his family members, with people outside in the neighborhood, with the society, with the whole world. Okay, we want the child to develop as a world family member, isn't it? Because as it was being said that we have been seeing the whole world as a family. And also when it comes to production of physical facilities, first of all, we have to make out what physical facilities we require, how much we require, okay, and how to produce it. And then we can enable the child to learn those skills and practices. Presently, we see that it has become a big task to keep the children in the classroom, okay. We have to impose so many criteria for examination so that they can come to the class, they can submit the assignment. Why? Because education has become a burden to the child. The child is not able to see how this education applies to one's own life rightly, because the right understanding, the feeling is not getting addressed through education. So if you see the present state, you'll see that the first part is missing. We do not have a single course exclusively for developing the right understanding of the child. Yeah, we may have some statements that I've seen in primary section also, some morals, some lines written toward the end of the chapter, giving as a moral, but not actually enabling the dialogue with the child. So we are doing something, but the right understanding can be developed through a process of dialogue, through self-exploration. That part is missing. Similarly, the capacity to live in relationship is also missing. We are teaching the child that they struggle for survival. Only the fittest can survive. And if you're not fit, then you cannot survive. So everybody is proving oneself fit enough to be on this planet. You can just see that if you are told that you're not enough fit to be in this class, not enough fit to be in the family, to be in the society, what kind of feeling will the child have? All the time the child is struggling, and that's why we can see suicides taking place. Small children are committing suicides. In coaching institutions, every month, almost every month, there's a suicide in Kota in Rajasthan. In IITs, almost every year, 1 or 2 children are committing suicide. Because all the time, that relationship part is getting missed, and we are just telling them that they struggle for survival, only the fittest can survive. Also, those who are able to prove themselves fit, what they are doing, they are trying to accumulate more and more, okay, through packages and placements. So the identification of need of physical facility is also missing. The willingness to produce by way of labor is also missing. The right utilization is also largely missing. Okay. We can see 2 generations back how we used to utilize the clothes and how we are utilizing them today. How we utilize the utensils in the kitchen and how we are utilizing them today. The gadgets and all those things. If you observe them, the utilization part is gradually decreasing. Even the space in the house, how we utilized earlier and how utilizing today. The core feeling that is generated is to accumulate more and more, to consume more and more, rather than to produce what is required and utilize it rightly. In fact, we were having one interaction with the final year students in one institution. It was placement time, and the students had some complaints regarding the placements taking place. So the director asked the students that, okay, what kind of placement do you want? Let us be clear about that first. So many students said many things. One student raised hand and said that I want 3 things, and I kindly fulfill these 3. What was that? I want job satisfaction from the placement. Good. I want maximum pay. And the third thing was really surprising. If possible, no work. So the kind of feeling that is being generated is that we want to have a good placement, even job satisfaction, and if possible, avoid work. Okay. And everybody is looking for white collar jobs. And if I still have to make my hands dirty after getting educated, it appears as if my education has been inadequate. Education means to make others work for me and not to work for others. So this kind of feeling is getting generated rather than producing what is required and utilizing it rightly. So let us now briefly do a SWOT analysis of the youth today. We'll discuss in detail in the panel discussions. And let me say that when we are talking about youth, it can be applicable to other generations also, but we can briefly make a kind of SWOT analysis. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. So if you look at the youth today, in comparison to the previous generations, there's a lot of tech savviness and information access. I do remember that when I was doing BTech, okay, we had the DOS computers and everything was in white font on a black screen. We had very limited access to computers. When we were graduating, then only Windows had come and colorful pictures were appearing on the screen. Otherwise, it was all black and white, right, at that time. And now every child, even a small child of 4 years old, is able to utilize so many or apps on the mobile phone. So a lot of tech savviness and information access. Right now that AI has come, you just ask it any question, it brings information from across the world in such a beautiful manner that you get a complete package of what you were looking for. The social awareness is also there. Now our children are not confined to their locality only. When they have access to the information across the world, their social awareness has gone up. What is happening in the other parts of the world? Okay, what kind of movements are taking place? What kind of uprisings are taking place, or the thoughts are coming in, and activism is also there, right? The diversity and inclusion also. So we can see that our students now, the young generation, is seldom aware about the caste of the friend, okay, or the uh, region to which he or she belongs, okay, or even the gender discrimination that has come down. The differentiation on these counts on the body part, if you see, okay, that is gradually coming down, and there's more of inclusion. If you see earlier, we only used to talk about male and female gender, right? Now, in every form, you have transgender also, right? So yeah, it has become more inclusive, and our students have started thinking in those terms also. So that inclusivity has gone up, and there's a lot of creativity and innovation, right? So now this is being also promoted through our technical education, even school education, to have more and more creativity in the children. Okay, many startups are coming up, so many ideas getting registered day by day. Okay, and innovation is coming up. So these are strengths which are really valuable, and we have to try to utilize them. But at the same time, we can see their mental health struggles. The psychological issues have come up. Okay, I can see that in Delhi University now there are so many students taking admission to get for psychology in class 11 and 12. So why so? Because the psychological issues are getting worse. There is lack of purpose and direction. So they have the exposure, but at the same time, what would the basic criteria based on which we can choose our direction of life? Which way to go and why? So that directionlessness is somewhat observed. Then over dependence on technology. So like one generation back, we used to write with hands, and that was quite a common scenario. Even today, we as faculty members are mostly typing. I can also see that writing with hands, it takes some time, but typing makes it very fast. So we are mostly typing, and the coming generation is going to only use the voice, right? So there is over dependence on technology, and of course the erosion of values and inner stability. The resilience is coming down somewhat, right? The inner stability is getting missed out, and the kind of crimes that we hear now, okay, the kind of murders that we hear now in the news, it was simply surprising. One generation back, it was not to be even heard of, even thought of. At the same time, we look at the opportunities. There is global exposure and cross-cultural learning. Okay, so the exposure to other cultures have gone up. We can see so many people from the West and other countries coming to India for education. From India, people going abroad for education. In a single family, now we can see spouse from different countries, family members belonging to different regions of the world. So that is there. Interdisciplinary and personalized learning is there. So the courses have not remained confined to few classical streams like this kind of engineering, that kind of engineering. Now there are more of interdisciplinary courses, and they are able to conduct research in so many ways. Youth have become change makers. Okay, so they have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. So they can be the change makers, only that they need the right direction. And integration of soft skills and life skills, that can be possible. In fact, when we talk about value-driven education, so the soft skills, when coupled with life skills, that can be much more valuable to the society. But the threats are also coming up. What is that? Consumerism is on the rise. We're talking about pollution. Why so much of pollution? The major reason being consumerism. Okay, in a single family, we have as many cars as family members. So if that is the case, then consumer is of course going to rise, and it is going to rise generation by generation. And competitive mindset. Okay, all the time is struggling to survive, struggling to get over others. Misinformation and identity confusion. So you can see now on WhatsApp or such social media, some information gets spread, right? And they are getting misguided out of that. So this misinformation and identity confusion, how do I identify myself, right? Then peer pressure and social comparison. So every time comparing with others, the lifestyle, the hairstyle, the clothing style, the walking style, the talking style, all the time they are comparing with others, right? And trying to be superior in those concerns. And there's a lot of peer pressure, and because of this, there are a lot of anxiety and psychological issues coming up. And then academic and career uncertainty. Okay, so these are some threats. So we can see thus there is a need for value-driven education. Okay, if you have to get over these threats, you have to utilize the properties rightly. Opportunities rightly, right? We have to get over the weaknesses and we have to utilize the strengths. Then we need value-driven education. So value-driven education refers to an approach that integrates universal human values and ethical human conduct into the learning process through self-exploration. It focuses on holistic human development and not just skill development without clarity of purpose. So that we can very much see that there is a need for value-driven education. And with that only, we can ensure all the three with the correct priority. Education essentially means developing the right understanding, that is understanding of harmony at every level of living, be it human being or family or society or nature and existence, and similarly living accordingly. So that living accordingly, what we have written one word here, we could not find a better word, so it is sanskar. So basically education is understanding and sanskar is the living part. Now when this understanding is there within the self, then the life is value guided, and then the skills that students go to acquire are also guided by those values. So it's not only for getting a good package, getting a good salary, okay? It's for doing something valuable. How I can participate in the harmony in the society, how I can make the society better, okay? So when I look for a job now with the value guidance, the focus is not on the package. The focus is on the role that I'm going to play in the larger order, in the society, in the nature, okay? So that we can ensure mutual happiness and mutual prosperity. Now, when we have this clarity, then from this dais, let me propose some graduate attribute. And this is something that we'd like to propose to the rest of the world also. This is something that we have been studying and trying to explore. And we have come up with 6 graduate attributes. It is something I'll share with the rest of the world that we can look into as a part of our board of studies meetings, whether we can have this kind of graduate attributes to be included in our curricula. So first thing is a holistic vision of life. Okay, so not limited to learning some skills, not merely doing some hands-on project. It has to be, first of all, developing a holistic vision of life. So presently, if you look at the students, their vision is limited to education. Why? For a job. Why the job? For a package. What kind of package? Maximum package for a merry-making life. Right? That kind of vision has come up. In place of that, we have to see how the holistic vision of life can be ensured. And can this be the program outcome of our program? It is BTech, MTech, PhD, whatever, B Pharma, whatever, BBA. Can this be the program outcome? So holistic vision of life leading to clarity, self-confidence, and self-fulfillment. This is the first thing. Second thing is socially responsible behavior. So enabling team work and responsible personality. Thirdly, environmentally responsible work, enabling prosperity in human being and coexistence with the nature. Fourthly, ethical human conduct, providing the basis for ethical reasoning and strong ethical grounding. Fifth, having competence and capabilities for maintaining health and hygiene through appropriate lifestyle. And sixth one, if you see, appreciation and aspiration for excellence, that is merit, and gratitude for all, the whole tradition. Let me say that what we are sharing from this dais, it has come from the whole tradition of knowledge system across the world. We are trying to present the gist of it through universal human values. So we need to have the gratitude for all those who work for the well-being of the society, all those who work for knowledge, all those who work for fulfilling relationships, making it a world family. So these are 6 graduate attributes that I propose that we can include in our board of studies to develop our curricula and syllabus. Right. So the expected outcome would be, by aligning value-based graduate attributes with the sought realities of the youth, education can become a transformative tool for consciousness development of the mankind. Right. So we can make an appraisal of the current state, And we have the vision here as graduate attributes. Now, when we map the two and we design our curricula and syllabus accordingly, our program accordingly, our interdisciplinary courses, our value-added courses, our training programs, our skill development programs accordingly, then of course it is going to develop the consciousness of the child. Now, when we expand it, so when we have human education in place, we develop the human consciousness, which leads to humane society. Now, little expanding over it. So, right understanding means understanding harmony at every level of living. Now, it leads to this competence to ensure justice in relationship, every relationship. In fact, if the child is able to decide that now, henceforth, after getting educated or even during the process of education, I have to ensure justice in every relationship, be it with my spouse, my parents, my children, okay, my friends, my peers, the people with whom I'm going to work in our organization, my neighbors, I have to ensure justice. You'll see that this develops the consciousness to such an extent that on one hand, the child is working for right understanding, and on the other hand, the child is also expressing it rightly in behavior. So justice with human being from family to the world family. And basically, the education is to develop that consciousness so that every child starts feeling as a part of world family. It's not that I have to exploit the rest of the world, okay, to fill the stores in my house. So mutual happiness leading to humane society. Similarly, while ensuring the order in my family, I'm going for production and distribution, right? Then I have to ensure family order, but in such a way that leads to world family order. Okay, so the family order is a building block for the world family order, right? The way the buildings are made brick by brick, in a similar manner, families joining together with harmony make the world family. So this would be the human society. We'll talk in detail in other keynote lectures here. So we'll have the keynote addresses when we talk about harmony relationship in detail. What are the innate feelings which we naturally accept in every relationship? Then we talk about harmony society and also how to implement holistic value-based education. So the overall outcome is this transformation, going from this inhuman consciousness to the human consciousness. Now, we'll talk about the goals in a humane society. Okay, the 5 goals: right understanding and right feeling in every individual, health in every individual, prosperity in every family, fearlessness, that is trust and justice in society, and coexistence, that is mutual enrichment in the nature. So this kind of goal can be fulfilled, and the two are complementary. Individual transformation leads to societal transformation. Societal transformation makes more and more individuals getting transformed generation by generation, and it becomes a human tradition. So this is the overall transformation that we can expect from value-driven education. To sum it up, so basic aspirations of a human being are continuity of happiness and prosperity. Right understanding, relationship, and physical facility with the correct priority are required for fulfilling the basic aspirations. Working for all the three with the correct priority, ensuring fulfillment of basic aspirations is living with human consciousness. Holistic development is transformation to human consciousness, and the role of education is to enable this particular transformation. For this, the education has to ensure the common graduate attributes, right? And the parents, teachers, society all have the role to play here for providing such an education. So at this conference, we want to share our experience, discuss this vision, and chart a way forward. So given the time available, I can take some questions, or as you suggest, we can take the comments of guest of honor. So can we take some questions, Didi?
Yeah, we can. We
So
still have 5-10 minutes, so we can take questions if there are any.
Yeah, if you have any question, maybe you can raise your hand, unmute yourself and ask. We can take questions from this Zoom platform. Yeah, Dr. Mahesh Trivedi. Yeah, raise your hand. Please unmute yourself. Dilip Kumarji. Yeah, Dr. Mahesh. Dr. Mahesh, you are not audible. Dr. Salim.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Sir, your session was actually wonderful. We got to understand the right understanding, relationship, physical facility, and the role of education, followed by what actually is expected from parents, teachers, and society. But even then, also the things are very challenging to manage the Gen Zs nowadays. What precautions we can take? Whether we have to change more or we have to make them change?
See, the onus lies on us in terms of, first of all, developing the right understanding, right feeling within oneself. Once we work for that, we can very much see that the intention of every human being is pure. Everybody wants to be happy and wants to make others happy. But due to some preconditionings, and mostly that we have got from education, we have come to believe the other as our opponent. We have come to believe that this nature is for exploitation and we have to do mastery over the nature. So I'll suggest that first of all, we have to work for developing the right understanding within oneself and then complement every other human being in terms of developing the right understanding. Then this is very much feasible. In fact, we can see that the amount of effort that has been put in here, the outcome is much more than that. So, of course, since every human being is aspiring for happiness essentially, is working for happiness only the right direction is to be ensured through education.
Okay,
Doctor.
sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Like, how about the relationships, sir? Like, even the relationships are not good with parents as well. So, teachers' relations is like far away from that.
Yes,
So,
that's
even
why.
the relationship within the classrooms, within the friend circle itself is also not that true. But we can't go back to those 80s, 70s, and all now. With the mobile usage in if you take now current problems, mobile usage is too much, and then everything is the instant happiness people are getting. So how we can make them with a better relationship with the teachers or maybe with the parents or with the society, how we can develop or toward how we can go towards the better nation?
Yeah, through value driven education, right from primary to higher education. That is the way out.
What happens is people are not ready to listen to the value based education, sir, most of the times.
Are you listening or not?
I am listening.
See, 1,000 people are listening here.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah,
Without
yeah.
any external force.
Yes, sir. Your session is very energetic, but how to? I mean, it is completely challenging, sir. Every time, once we keep telling whatever we are listening from you, we tell these things again. One more challenges will come.
Yeah, so let me say that one entry program is a workshop. So as a faculty, please do join some workshop. We have 5 to 8 days of workshop,
Okay.
maybe even introductory workshop of 3 days. So spare some time. Where you are placed right now?
I am from Bangalore, sir.
Okay, so we had a workshop in Bangalore recently. So please do join a workshop. Maybe we can get your details and we can communicate to you. Otherwise, you can go to the AICT portal and the calendar of workshops is displayed there. You can join some workshop. Let me take another question, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Nice, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, sir. Professor Meenakshi. Professor Meenakshi. Dr. Aarti Upadhyay. Yeah, please.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh-huh. Your talk is really an interesting analytical talk. But main thing is we have to put everything in practice. And I don't know how this young mass has to be inspired to move through this journey of value. Though we know that we have to move from human to human, but still we are not in human form also, we are in animal human form. So can you throw some light? How are we going to put it? Of course, we are talking and listening. It is very nice, but putting into practice how to go about.
Which university you are in, ma'am?
I am in Sri Satya Sai University for Human Excellence, Kalaburgi, Karnataka.
Okay. We have come to Kalburgi also, and we have many volunteers in Kalburgi. So maybe if you share your contact, we can plan something at your end. We can
Yes.
plan some workshop. In the workshop, we get the complete exposure about
Sure.
the content as well as process.
Of course, our university is completely for value education. We are transforming people, but we want it in a larger scale. So we need your collaboration also, sir. I need
Yes,
your contact details also from the organizers.
certainly, ma'am. In fact, this is the basic purpose behind the conference, to get in touch with all well-meaning people across the world.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sumati Didi. Okay. Some other, I cannot see Sumati ji.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Aarti Upadhyay.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
We are left with only 1 minute.
Sir.
So
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll be quick. Session was really wonderful, and my concern is, there is not question but concern. When you are practicing value in your everyday life, it is very difficult to sustain at your workplace, even in your family too, in society too. So can you please help me to know that how to be calm and to stay positive while you are practicing values in your life and not getting positive response from people? Sometimes you are getting isolated too. So if you can help me to to know the tips or process to stay at the values you believe in. Thank you, sir.
Very shortly, very briefly, let me say that practice without understanding is difficult, and practice with understanding is natural. So you have to keep the right understanding as the first priority, and then practice comes very naturally.
All right, sir. But I didn't get anything. But that's okay. I'll explore more.
Okay.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we can be in touch some other time, and be in touch with us. The whole team is there. Where are you placed?
In Saharanpur, sir, Uttar
Oh,
Pradesh.
okay. Nice.
Yeah,
We can keep in touch. Uh,
sure, sir.
for
Thank you.
the limitation of time, let me invite now Manishi Didi. Ji,
yeah,
thank you.
very nice. We all got so much in the process of exploration, looking for solutions right now, immediately. But it's a journey. We have to work on it. It'll take a little time. Thank you, Bhaiya, for sharing an exploratory keynote address, comprehensive vision of value-driven education. This one that enables young minds to move from problem-centric approach to solution-centric approach, from aspiration to purpose, and from individual success to collective well-being. Thank you all for being with us online. Yeah. Can we have a question right now? Because time is
I'm available.
actually.
Yes.
If it's urgent, let us take this question.
So my question is, problem solving is an important key for solving the problem. So if the efforts which does not give result aren't just distraction, because like in a relationship, if we put our effort but other person isn't putting that much effort, so the relationship get or maybe get break.
That's why we have to be solution centric. So problem solving, but solution centric.
So what are the solutions? Like, because the other person doesn't want to put the effort.
Exactly. So I have to work on the relationship first. If you ignore the relationship and try to find out any solution for in terms of physical facility, it will not be sustainable. For example, you plant a tree and the other your opponent. The next morning you see that the plant has been uprooted. Okay. So if you do not work on the relationship, and for that you have to work on the right understanding. So with right understanding and relationship only, we can bring any sustainable change, okay, in the physical world. Otherwise, it will not sustain.
Okay, sir.
Nice.
So my second question is, we wish to be a good human, but to reach our goal, we have to, unknowingly, we have to do something which harm others, and then we feel guilty about it. So what we can do for it?
Again, I'll say that we have come to believe that my good cannot be ensured without harming others. Okay, so this kind of conditioning has to be looked into. Okay, we have to explore it. So can it be that we can ensure a program which is mutually fulfilling with the human being as well as the rest of nature? Right?
Yes, sir.
That we have to understand. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, and we have lot many sessions coming up in next 2 days more. So it's an open forum where we can resolve all these concerns by listening to our speakers and listening to the sharing, those who have gone through the process of understanding right, we'll get some insight how to work on ourselves. So you'll get all these answers. So it's better that we remain connected in all the sessions. So the next session starts from 12:45 to 2:15, which is a panel discussion session, which will run in 4 rooms. In room number 1, we have panel discussion on need for empowering youth through value-driven higher education by higher education. And then in room number 2, we have discussion on SWOT analysis of the current state of youth, health and the health system by Health SIG. Room number 3, we have again 2 parallel sessions, panel discussion on SWOT analysis of today's youth to address SDGs by SDG. And we have in room number 4, we have seminar talk on need and vision for value-driven school education by School Education SIG. So now it's time from 11:15 to 12:45. It's time to take a break, or we can have a networking all through the website where we'll find the organizing partners there. If we want to interact with them, we have members there, personnel is there, with whom we can interact. Otherwise, we can have a break and join back at 12:45 for the panel discussion. Thank you, everyone, joining online from all across the world. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, Bhaiya.
There is one question that which session will be visible online. So I think all the sessions are.
All the sessions,
All the-
yes. All the sessions are visible.
Thank you all.